one adaptable plans that emphasize sustainable habits over temporary diets. Ma'am's impact is recognized nationwide. She received the FSSAI Eat Right Award in 2019 from India's Health Minister for her influential work in public health. She also serves as an official nutritionist for national athletes under GAIL and NYCS, has spoken on TEDx about digestive health and contributes regularly to publications such as Sakal and Pune Mirror. Today, we are privileged to have Dr. Rohini Madam with us. Her dedication to holistic living, education, and community wellness contributes to inspire us all. With great respect, I now request Honorable Dr. Rohini Ma'am to grace the podium and kindly address the gathering.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is such a divine time of the year, Navratri, these 9 days. So much energy. Scientifically, if we talk about seasons are changing, it's a great time to fast, to feel good. And this wonderful initiative by Team SMR, and when I found out about this event happening, and when Vishal sir told me about it, I was, for the first time, I hadn't ever thought about my journey because you don't really go into retrospect and see what has been your journey and what has happened over the years. So when he told me, I think I sat for an hour and I thought about everything from my birth, from my childhood until today. I think I have a long way to go, but interestingly, I found out so many things, so many dots that I could connect. There were revelations about, oh, this happened like this for this, which I did not know. So, जो हम सुनते हैं हर चीज़ किसी न किसी reason से होती है. There's a divine purpose for everything. So I could connect the dots, and I realized everything happened for a reason. Though that time I was very disappointed about it, or I was questioning my decisions, eventually I realized that this was all for a cause. But I realized that now, when I went back, when I knew I have to talk about my journey, which I have never spoken about it, so that was one very interesting thing that happened. Now, how many of you, I want to know, are from Pune, proper Pune? Okay, how many of you are from small villages or taluka places? Oh, lots of you all. Even I'm from a small taluka called Sangula, which is near Solapur, which is near Pandharpur. Okay, and are you all from Maharashtra or you're from other states also? Other states also. Great, lovely. So when I started, writing what I'm going to say, I started writing the points. I called up my father because I realized that he has done some really weird things when it came to bringing me up. Maybe I was, first, how many of you are first kids here? First children, elder ones? Yeah, so you're all guinea pigs of your parents. They will experiment everything on you. And I think my combination was even more weird because my father is the only son and he's a surgeon. So, first daughter of the only son, lot of pampering and lot of experimentation. So I'm really surprised if how I turned out to be fine because there was a lot of experimentation that happened with me. And today, if I have to experiment like that with my children, if I have to be that open, that liberal, take decisions like he had taken, I am not sure if I can do that with my children. So I actually called him and I was like, what were you thinking when you did all of this? And you will understand with what I tell you with the situations that what was he thinking. But he told me that I had one intention behind all of that happened in bringing you up is I wanted you to find your own passion. That was his only goal. And being a doctor, being a surgeon, the first surgeon in the town, he had no pressures for me to choose a particular career path. He was not interested in making me a doctor. He was not interested in anything. He just wanted me to find my purpose. Which I think was a great insight for me because now I'm bringing up my children. We are bringing up so many children in our institutions, and I want to help all of you, find your purpose here as well. So, just quick, information about where I came from, and a lot of my childhood was influenced by my grandfather. My grandfather was an IIT from IIT Kharagpur that time. And that time he was sent to Canada from Indian government, and he worked in Canada for a while. Then he was the dean and director of the Rahuri Krishi Vidyapit for many years. Then he chose to retire, came back to Sangola. We are basically from Sangola. And his brother was, one of the pioneers of politics over there. He was into agriculture and education. And my father was the first surgeon in the town. Now, with all of this background, I had a lot of questioning bringing up there. I knew my family was influential. I knew that I had certain privileges and I was pampered. And that led to, I think, until grade 5, I studied in Sangola. It's a very small village near Surapur. I was born in Pandharpur, so I think I was blessed to be born in a really spiritual land of our country. And when I was finishing my grade 1 to grade 5, at a very early stage, I was told by my father, grade 2, 3, we are barely understanding the education system and how you have to study. My father told me that time, ki if you really want to learn a subject or if you really want to score well in your class, you don't need to go for this tuition, this teacher, that teacher. You have to understand that there's some energy and wisdom within you. You sit, you read books, and you go give your exams. And somehow I realized that I had this love for reading. So a lot of times my mom had to put the books away, like how we switch off TVs for our children. My books had to be away, and they used to tell me, okay, now you do this. And now, apart from that, all parents want children to do well in their exams. But I was scolded, and I was one of those children who was being beaten up a lot by their parents because I was mischievous. But I was scolded for not exercising. Physical health and physical fitness was a non-negotiable at my house. So fitness and all came first. In my schooling, I was the sports prefect and sports captain, and I somehow ended up scoring very good marks in the class. So I was always standing first or second all the time. But I had this huge interest in traveling with my grandparents. Even if there's a wedding or there's some event happening, and they used to be called for a lot of events, I used to miss my school and go wherever they are going. Surprisingly, my father didn't say anything to me that, okay, you want to miss, so my attendance was very bad. But whenever I would go give my exams, I would stand first or second. Interestingly, all of this leverage that I was getting, somehow I think there was a little jealousy with other children and all of that. So there was an incident where, I was bullied by all the girls in the class. And I ended up becoming the one who was the most disliked. So that actually withdrew me from going to school. I started hating going to school because, a lot of girls wouldn't talk to me. And then one day, my father, this was in my 5th standard, my father said, okay, you should go to school if you enjoy school. If you don't enjoy school, you can sit at home and, read books, go to your sports classes and all. Something I will never say to my children. But you know what happened after that? I did not go to school for 6 months. And my mom was scared. She was terrified that how is, our child not going to school? She's home for 6 months. What are you even doing? But I think he had something else in his mind because that time, Sangola being a small town, there was no good English medium school. I was into purely Marathi medium school. So the next decision he took after 6 months was he shifted me from Sangola to Pune. He's like, there's no added advantage she's getting here, and I think she needs to go to Pune to study. So then I was shifted to Pune with my sister and my mother for education. And And in Pune, again, I was from a purely Marathi medium school, so nobody gave me admission in English medium school. So I was rejected by many schools. And then, of course, my grandfather to the rescue, he knew Navle sir, so I got admission in Springdale School. And the first question that the principal asked me in Sinhagad Springdale School was, how did you like the school? My answer to that was Rohini S, because that was my name. So I did not understand the English, a simple question in grade 6 that she asked me that, how did you like the school? I thought she's asking me my name. And that expression on the principal's face, ki ye kisko admission de diya? So that was really, I still remember her face. Then what was suggested by the principal and Navle sir was that even if she's almost a year late, let her do 4 months in the school, because I was a little early in school. So I was anyway supposed to redo my 6th grade in an English medium school. So 4 months I did just randomly over there just to attend and understand how English medium school works. But luckily I got a very good support, because I remember there was an English poem which was taught in the class, and the English teacher asked me, are you understanding what I'm teaching? I said, no. She taught the whole English poem in Marathi. And I will never forget that, because that gave me some kind of comfort. And after those 4 months, I still gave those exams, though I was supposed to repeat. And my marks were really strange. So I topped in Marathi, I topped in maths, I topped in Hindi. But I was borderline in science and I failed in English. So then my class teacher called my parents. They said, you have such a talented daughter. Why are you breaking her confidence? Why are you experimenting with her? She will grow beautifully in a Marathi medium school. And my dad was like, no, both my girls will do it. Then my next year I started 6th standard fresh, and that year I scored 95% in 6th standard in all English medium pure school. And the very next year I was shifted to a CBSE school, because I don't know why he thought he had to upgrade us now and experiment with a different board. So from Sinhagad Springdale School, I was shifted to Delhi Public School, Pune. Something interesting happened at Delhi Public School. Delhi Public School, we used to live in a society where there was a tennis court right under my house. And I just started playing tennis. And in the background of all this experimentation and not going to school, one thing was happening all the time was the seriousness of sports. So I was into athletics first. I did states athletics. I was into marathons. When I was in 4th standard, I stood 2nd in Pune marathon. I had come only to run the marathon to Pune. Then when I was in Springdale, I tried shooting, pistol shooting. Because that time Anjali Bhagwat had won Olympic medal. And my dad just wanted us to go to that highest level of sports and see how it is. But somehow shooting did not interest me. I did almost 2 years of shooting. Then when I was in DPS, I started playing tennis. Surprisingly, in I think a year or 2, I started playing state level. But around that time, so next goal was playing nationals. But now to play nationals, Delhi Public School is a very strict school. So we had no permission from the school to miss classes and then do your sports career also. Then for the same reason, I was shifted from Delhi Public School to Solapur Kendriya Vidyalaya, because you knew the principal said we have a specific quota for athletes and she can not come to school for the whole year, but she has to come back for exams, which was okay. So whole year I used to play tennis. I used to go for all the tournaments that happened throughout the year, and I would come back at the end of the year, and in the 3 months, I would give all the exams. So no teacher, no classroom teaching. I remember reading books till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock by myself in the morning, and next day going for exam, just 1 day of preparation. And this went on till my grade 9th and 10th as well. Even 10th I was playing. And somehow I still scored 83-84% in spite of all of that schedule, and I played 3 nationals in tennis. Then I was coached in Bangalore by Krishna Bhupati. You all know Mahesh Bhupati? Yes. So Mahesh Bhupati's father was my coach for tennis. That was the time Australian Open was happening, so Sania Mirza was there, Mahesh Bhupati was there, he and his wife used to personally look into our food, our diet, our sports. I understood the micromanagement of an organization from them, because if one day the breakfast was not right, he would know. And that is the amount of attention and detailing they used to give to all of us, who were national players, trying to go to international level. After playing 3 nationals, I played a couple of international matches, and I realized that genetically, like there was one competition where there was this very tall Russian player in front of me. She put one service which went top, like even if I would have hopped a lot, I wouldn't have been able to touch the ball. And that gave me an idea that maybe there are some genetic shortcomings because of which I might not be able to continue tennis for the rest of my life. Now my 10th standard happened. After 10th standard, my father's like, forget about 11th, 12th, you continue playing tennis. And he's a surgeon. And he had this group of friends from his MBBS times who were all very successful doctors that time and even today. And they are trying to tell him that, what are you doing with your daughter? She doesn't know what she's supposed to do, not her career. And tennis is not a reliable profession. And I was a part of that conversation. And then I went back to him and I said, I think I have to quit tennis and I want to become a doctor. And he was against it. And my mother was laughing because he's like, your daughter wants to become a doctor, you're telling her you go become a tennis player. What is happening? But of course he came around it because he was like, it's your life, you have to find your passion. If you think becoming a doctor comes very naturally to you and you really want to do it, he said, go ahead, do it. Then of course, it's a ritual in our house that for every decision we always go to my grandfather. I went to my grandfather, I told him I want to become a doctor and I think I can do it. So he's like, okay, go become a doctor. But he said, I'm not calling anybody for your seat, for your management seat. Because I knew that he did call for a lot of people, for people around our villages, our relatives, and he said no. And surprisingly, when I started preparing my studies, that time we had MHT CET. I don't know if you all are aware about it. And for private colleges, it's a very ironical story. For private colleges, there was an associate exam. And all my relatives used to say that you will either go to the Sinhagad Medical College or you will come to D.Y. Patil Medical College, because they knew and they thought that she has to never gone to school. How is she going to clear a medical entrance, which is so tough? So her parents will manage a management seat. I got very offended. I said, now I will not go to these colleges. And I will not go to private medical colleges. So Somnath sir makes fun of it. He's like, but you got married anyway. But that time I had taken it very seriously. I will not go. Then after that, associate exam happened, MHTCT. 2 years I prepared in Latur. There was a Latur pattern that was quite famous that time. So I was in Latur 2 years. I did not come home. I remember during summer vacation, entire hostel used to be empty. And there used to be this one 70-year-old Ajji. She was the rector. And I remember my birthday comes in May month. So entire hostel was empty. I did not have friends because I was studying there. So just one room where I used to study. And on my birthday, there was nobody. And it was my decision not to come home for my birthday because I had to study. And I remember that Ajji came with a Parle-G biscuit pura for my birthday. And she gave me, and that was the only celebration. Of course, I cried, I felt lonely, but I think I knew what I had to do and I did what I had to do. And my first day for my entrance exam classes, it was physics class going on. And it was a private coaching, and that physics, there was something going on with latitudinal lines and longitudinal lines. But I technically did not go to school after 6th standard till 10th, so my basics were horrible. I knew how to pass the exam and score well, but basics were really bad, especially for subjects like physics. And I did not know what to say, so I did not answer that question. And first day of my physics class, he said, "Ki tumi kahi kara, you do anything, you will not get a seat on your own merit. Tell your father to prepare for a management seat." Now I got even more offended. So I was like, okay. So I think that was a trigger why I did not go home for 2 years, and I just went on studying. CET happened. After CET happened, there were 5 medical colleges which got added to MUHs, that is Maharashtra Health University, Nashik. That is the government university. And associate exam happened. My father, being the protective father, he had his plans of keeping a backup, though it was an open declaration, I'm not going to any private college. But he had his preparation. He was just trying to say that you just go give the exam, baki ka baad mein dekh lenge. I said, I will not give the exam. So I made up some excuse. I did not go for the associate exam. So the only exam I gave was MHT CET. And the first round came. And I got selected in Navli, but it was in MUHs. So I was the first government student of that batch. So no donation, nothing. I got admission on my fees. So I felt very proud. I was celebrated and everybody was very happy. My grandfather was proud. All of that happened. And then my journey for MBBS started. So why I'm telling you all of this is because when small, small incidents happen in your life, there is 80% of the things that are just happening around you that everybody knows. But there are these 5% things which actually shape you, which actually make you learn, which actually changes you as a person also. And here in this whole talk, I've only highlighted those 5% incidences which actually led me to where I am. Now, before I got my admission in a medical college, because I had said I will get it on my merit and all of that, what happened was, there was a, आपका जब entrance exam रहता है, after you give your exam, and जब तक college नहीं मिलता, वो जो time होता है, how is that time? Very stressful, really bad, very difficult. For me also it was like that. I couldn't sleep. I used to be awake the whole night. I just couldn't sleep. And that is where I got introduced to 3 things. Because I had so much free time. At night I just couldn't sleep. TV used to be on. I used to be doing something. So I got introduced to this book called as The Secret. Okay? And in that The Secret, I understood the power of the mind, the power of visualization, and the power of affirmations. So I was like, okay, I have nothing else to do and I don't know what else to do because exam is over, nothing is in my hand. I will start visualizations. When I visualized, I started visualizing the kind of college environment I want, the kind of friends I want. I wanted lifelong friends because that's what I saw my father having after his medical college. And it's 5.5 years of journey, so it's a long time you spend with your friends over there. So I knew all of that. But somewhere I was manifesting a college in Bombay. I got a college in Pune. I was very disappointed, but since I got it, I took it. So apart from the college, rest everything was according to my visualization. My life in college, my comfort otherwise, the teachers, the friends I got, they're still my friends, and everything was perfect except for the place. Of course, later on when my life unfolded, I realized why I was in Pune, because everything just lined up in Pune only after that. But somehow we get these little disappointments. We want something else happens, but there's always a deeper and a higher purpose that you don't understand in that moment. So I took 2-3 months to adjust to the thought that, okay, I have to be here. I said, okay. Now, other thing that happened during all of that was during my entrance exam in those 2 years, I was an athlete. But those 2 years, all I did was just study. So I put on almost 25-30 kgs in those 2 years when you're studying, because you're not doing any physical activity. Then what happened was, in my first year, I started exercising like a mad person. I got, there was a gym near the college, so I signed up for it. And what had happened in our first year was our senior batch was a batch from the private university. Then they had to give government university exam for the first time. They gave it. And the result was only 40% student passed. So 60 failed. Our batch started in this whole fear of what if we also fail. So passing was the biggest goal for us in first year. But in spite of all of that pressure, for me, more than passing, my fitness was very important. I had to lose the weight, so I started getting very curious with how diets work, how exercise work. And luckily, studying medical first year was just complementing with it, because we were studying subjects like anatomy, biochemistry, physiology, which was just aligning with what I was trying to do with my own body. I lost all of that weight within a few months. And slowly, as my MBBS progressed, my quest for knowing about human body and how human body works and how this whole fitness works, and that started connecting to diseases because we were studying about diseases. And I started understanding how diseases can be reversed if you just take care of a few preventive things. So that was a quite interesting thing that was happening anyway. Now my father, again, him being him, I don't know how he's like that, but he told me, you have done it, you've gotten a college, now don't really score very good marks. I said, what are you saying? Now first year I got 63, he said, what are you going to do about extra 13% because 50% was the passing. He's like, you should have used that time to do something else. Then that pushed me to taking up more things because there was no pressure for marks from the family. And other students who had doctor parents, they were like, oh my God, I need this, I need to get first rank, second rank. So they were always into books. I started my fitness because of that. Even during university exams, I used to go do my gym and come back and study. Around second year, that was the beginning of this organization that is called as Medical Students Association India. It's a very big students organization now in our country. I was the second president of this organization. And I led a delegation of 16 medical students to Washington, D.C. for an international medical student conference. And we were addressed by the government embassy, Indian embassy in US, and that time Nirupama Rao was the ambassador. And she told me some very beautiful things about how you can blend leadership in any field. And those were very, I think, crucial periods which was just shaping up my thought process. So meeting her was quite inspiring. I was the youngest in the delegation, but I was the president and leading the delegation. So that was a huge learning point for me. The conference in Washington, D.C., the days I spent in New York after that, it was a huge, huge learning experience that I think I understood the importance of traveling for a cause. So I always try to travel for a cause. So it will be a conference or it will be a workshop, it will be anything, but traveling for a cause opens your mind for a lot of things. Then I came back from US, gave my exams, then around third year, I think my third year exam got over. And one of my friend's father worked in Jakarta in Indonesia. And three of us just thought, now to a young girl, allowing her to go alone with just two of her girlfriends to a new country, it was very, very, strange of how he allowed me to. But he said, you will never get to do this again. You'll never get to go with your friends like this. So I did take a trip to Indonesia. Indonesia opened my eyes to anti-aging, to the power of healing and the food that they eat. So in fact, more than just a girl's trip, it became an insight for me for the whole wellness point of view, which that time I had nothing in mind that I was going to become a nutritionist. There was nothing, but my entire passion for food and all opened my eyes for it. So I understood the power of teas. I understood the power of eating boiled, less fried, eating raw food. So everything was just, I think, nurturing my brain towards a certain direction. We came back, I finished my final year MBBS. After I finished my final year MBBS, internship started. I was working in each field. We get exposure to work in all departments. So you work in surgery, medicine, everything, gynac. And just as all my internships were happening, I was taken aback. So I started going into this shell of, I don't know if I should call it depression because I did not know it that time, but I became completely shut down. And I was just working, like I remember I did not come home during my internships because I used to live in the hospital. We had a hostel also. So I would do all emergency operation, I would assist. All minor OTs I would do by myself. I had gotten that skill. And somehow I think, all surgeons, they get this dopamine by doing the surgeries and doing the stitches. And, there's a different thrill to that when you get to actually operate on the body. All of that was going on. I think I became one of the best interns in the surgery department. But after finishing my surgery posting, I went home one day for my dad's birthday. And that day he's like, what is wrong with you? What is happening? I said, I don't know. I'm liking the way I'm doing surgery, but I don't think I can do surgery for the rest of my life because I think I have I have a lot of other interests that I like to do. I was, I was first or second always in national debates. I used to like reading, I used to like writing, I used to love reading about, of course, nutrition and all of that. So I was like, see, I'm doing all this. I don't know what post-graduation I have to do, because people had started asking me that which branch you're going to take, what are you going to do? And I had no answer because I genuinely did not feel inclined to anything. So I kind of felt stuck, undergraduate in MBBS and no idea post-graduation, what do you do? And that's when he said that, you should just take up nutrition. Why don't you just work on this? And the biggest thing that popped in my head that time, isn't it a step down? Because nutritionists don't become doctors. They just do MSc or 12th grade and then they become nutritionists. So what am I doing? He's like, if it feels right to you, just do it. And don't think about who's doing it. Is there any path in this field carved for you? And all, just do it. I said, okay. I came back, I finished my internship and I signed up for all the nutrition courses. For post-graduation also, and I did a lot of diplomas simultaneously. And nothing has felt right since then. Of course, I had a phase where I was freelancing. When I was freelancing, people would come to me and they'll be like, okay, you're MBBS, but what does that mean? Which doctor you are? So what's the difference between any other nutritionist and you? So people did not understand any depth that it comes from an MBBS doctor to a nutritionist, which happened now. So that was, again, quite interesting, but somehow between all these freelancing lows and, I used to question my journey. That's where Nutricy started out of nothing. Then one day somebody said, you know what, you should start a YouTube channel. I was like, are you mad? I can't talk in front of a camera. I don't think I can ever do that. He said, no, but I think this is, this will be need of the time later on and you have to take on to YouTube. I said, okay. And I think a month later, my first video came out that time. And today I've just crossed 100K on YouTube, and speaking in front of camera doesn't really, it's a part and parcel of the profession and how it goes. But I remember I couldn't even think of standing and speaking in front of a camera for YouTube, which was very surprising, but I think a month later that just happened. Then social media happened and all of that went on. Then I think after freelancing, I saved some money. After saving some money, I started my first clinic at Patil Road near Ruby Hall. And that's where a lot of things started happening in a nicer way for me. So I could connect the dots. And that's when I started writing my first book. Now, first book took 4 years for me to write because I wanted to write about a lot of concepts, a lot of misconceptions that go. And now recently my second book has come, and that book just took me 2 years. And now my third book is in the proposal with the publisher. It took me 1 year. So, anything that you do repetitively, it just becomes, your brain starts wiring according to it. So, yahan pe what I want to tell you all is, you have any idea, you have anything in your mind, I believe from my experience, just start. Start wherever you start, from your hostel room, start from wherever you are, and figure it out on the way. If your cause is true and if your cause is deeper, no low will feel like a low. And no high will also be so high that you get carried away with it. Because the ups and downs will really not matter. It's the journey and it's what you want to keep doing. So that is more important. And then I think, so this has been my 5% till I started my profession. And later on I got married, and I think I've been fortunate to get the kind of support from my in-laws and from my husband to pursue my career, to work. So even since the time I've been married, there was no day that I had to quit or I had to not work. I got the freedom to work, I got the support. They're always proud of these little things I do, little achievements I do. So I think in a woman's success, their family, their in-laws and their maternal family both play a huge role, because that becomes your will to continue with everything. Then even in spite of having kids, I managed to continue. And that has, I think, really given me a sense of purpose to carry forward. And then one day what happened was, Sir asked me to start looking into the school. This was more than 2.5 years ago. And I started doing that. And in those 2 years, what I discovered was I got this happiness that I had never gotten before. I got this calm and peace of mind that I hadn't gotten before. And you know, in those little children, we started doing assemblies with gratitude, meditation, affirmations. We started doing student reading clubs. So these are very small things, but at the end of the day, when I went home, I felt quite calm and I could sleep well. So I felt this is another purpose that I have to, you know, start walking towards. And maybe there's another deeper meaning that I have to explore within the coming years. And that led to my journey in education. It is all a blessing of my in-laws and the support of my husband. So I think that is something I'm still exploring. And then the school started in higher education. So it comes from a feeling of wanting to contribute. It comes from a feeling of, you know, even in today's talk, my only goal was, even if 1 or 2 people who takes any meaning from this and it helps you achieve what you want in life, I think my purpose of coming here is completely fulfilled. That is all I'm looking into. I just want to make a difference for that one life, that one child, that one student, because it's you know, the cycle of the universe is such that one day we are there, one day we are not there. So what stays is what you contribute, what lives you affect, and there is something deeper. Now at a young age, even, you know, I had these aspirations where, you know, I wanted to get a certain phone, I wanted to get a certain dress, I wanted to get a certain bag, I wanted to get a certain watch. We all want, right? Fancy things, branded things, and for us that is success, a certain car, and we all work towards it. But you know, when you start living the dream life, maybe when you get what you want materialistically, you will start realizing, but happiness is not there. Happiness is here. Happiness is when you get to live your purpose, when you get to live your passion, when you see a smile on somebody else's face because of you. In any profession, it can happen in anything. So, leading with purpose, leading with empathy, and leading with the right intent is very important, because that is your happiness. Money will come. You will live the materialistic money life. Of course, it will come with hard work. There's a very fixed formula for it, and it comes. But it doesn't go with you. So what stays is your purpose, what you lived for. And now you're at such a right age. Okay, I'm sure all of you will earn money. All of you will earn your materialistic desires with the right effort. But don't forget to ask yourself that, am I actually having any other purpose with it? Am I having any other reason with it, which is for a larger cause, which is not for me, which is for somebody else's life, which will affect somebody else in a positive way? When you lead with that, that becomes a very unique mark in the world, and that will always stay after you, because, you know, that is what the life goes on, the world goes on with or without you. So I think it's very important that you keep that in your mind with your goals, with your leadership, and with all that you want to achieve. Just keep a small space for your cause, and that will always take you a very long way. So this was about my journey. So I have a small write-up for you. So dear student, I know you're the future, and in you lies the power to change the society, to challenge the stereotypes, and to create opportunities not just for yourself, but for others too. And for that, we can take inspiration from the 9 forms of the goddess that we celebrate during these 9 days. So, like goddess Shailaputri, stay grounded no matter how high you rise. Like goddess Brahmacharini, pursue your knowledge with dedication and discipline. Like goddess Chandraghanta, carry grace even when you face challenges. Like goddess Kushmanda, create possibilities where no possibility exists. Like goddess Skandamata, nurture and support others selflessly. Like goddess Katyayani, be fearless in chasing your dreams. Like goddess Kalaratri, face your fears head on without running away. Like goddess Mahagauri, keep your heart and intentions pure. And like goddess Siddhidatri, share your wisdom and use your success to empower others. So I want to end, with this shloka from Durga Saptashati, and that says, Dehi Saubhagya Arogyam, Dehi Me Param Sukham, Rupam Devi, Jayam Devi, Yasho Dehi, Dvisho Dehi, which means, O mother of good fortune, Grant me saubhagyam, that is good fortune. Grant me good health, that is arogyam. Grant me blissfulness. Grant me beauty, that is rupam. Grant me victory, that is jayam. Grant me fame, prosperity, that is yash. And eliminate my enemies. And I think with the right mindset, that will definitely happen. So thank you so much.
LinkedIn and every social media. I have seen about you, you're very inspiring, but today you have become more motivating to us. My question is that you mentioned that you haven't gone to school much.
Yeah.
But still, academically, you were at the top of the class.
Yeah.
Along with that, you were at the top of sports as well. So how did you manage that? Because both these things are quite opposite to each other.
Right.
So being at top in both the fields, how did you do that?
That's a very interesting question. I think I missed that part somewhere in my talk. Is somehow, maybe because of the destiny or with the path I was chosen, I always started at the bottom. Okay, I always started where people didn't know me, where I wanted to be like a certain group or a certain person, like a head girl. I always started from the lowest position. And then I was taught, or I made myself in such a way, or I had to do it anyway, I did not have an option, to work hard relentlessly. So my study timing, like I used to sit at one place for 8 hours and read books. Surprisingly, I realized, like maybe during, it was an early years of schooling, so whenever I sat and read a book of any subject, I managed to give exams after reading it. So I understood the concept, apart from maths and physics, because I think I'm very bad with numbers. For that, I needed help from my mother. She's MSc Mathematics. So she used to sit with me with a danda, and she used to make me do maths. But other subjects, I realized I could learn. So maybe the takeaway from this for all of you is, you all have that power. अगर कोई chapter teacher ने class में सिखाया नहीं है, that doesn't mean you will not understand it. Sit with the book, read it. Another example of this was during my 11th-12th, because I did not come home. I finished entire, there is organic chemistry in chemistry. I finished entire organic chemistry in 2 months of holidays. Just reading, I was done. Then when next year the classes started, that was like a revision for me. So little concepts I did not understood, I started understanding in the classes. So take it ahead, take it head on, get into it. When you get into it, you can always reach out to teachers for your doubts. You can always say, this is not, but entirely this concept ki teacher hi padayega, and after that students padenge. I feel that's not required. You can always read before your class. You can always prepare before. You can use these small weekends and holidays to prepare beforehand. Then when you learn in a classroom, that really helps. Same thing happened with sports. I think somewhere, again, I started at the bottom because nobody starts in national tennis in 7th grade. So initially, there was a lot of friction and there was a lot of failure. I lost so many matches. But there is a strong inner voice within you which says, ki ho jayega, kar denge. Let's just get better. Let's just get better at service. Mera forehand weak hai, let's work on the forehand. And another important reason was, I think my father, he kept motivating. He said, you lost this match because your forehand is not right. You have to work on it. Your action is not right. You have to work on it. Your footwork is not right. So he used to, I remember, he made a tennis court at the top of our hospital. So where we live is, he has a 100-bedded hospital. Uske upar we have a house. And on top of that, he made a tennis court. And he used to finish his surgery. Midnight, 1 o'clock, he used to come and put balls for me and my sister. And we used to practice. Midnight, 2 o'clock. So I think there are no limitations, no barriers, no rules if you want to succeed at anything. Be mad, be crazy, and just be at it. And then, beyond a certain point, which I've realized now, after many years, leave it to the divine power. Surrender yourself. There are some things which are beyond our understandings. Of course, there will be days you will cry. You will feel like you're exhausted, you're drained, isse zyada you cannot do. Those are the times you just surrender. Listen to any mantra, listen to any shloka, and just leave it to whichever God you worship and tell them that I have done my best, now you take care. That works. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
A very good afternoon, ma'am.
Good
My
afternoon.
name is Pragati. So my question to you is, ma'am, who is that one person who inspired you in your entire journey?
My grandfather. I have what he has done in his times is what I have done in my times. So small story about him is he belonged to a very big, landlord in our town, and his father fought for our country in World War II. That was my great grandfather. So he was the most respected person there. He got huge land as a reward because he saved some a British officer's life over there in the war. He got him back. Then in Iran war or Iraq war, he went missing for 8 years. And another powerhouse was his wife, my great grandmother, who for 8 years believed he would come back. He came back after 8 years. He retired and he got all the things, so he started his life over there. And then when my grandfather was 13, he passed away. So, and that time they were in a lot of debt. So my grandfather left schooling. And imagine that time, my grandfather was studying in Shivaji University, Pune. So education was so important even during my great-grandfather's time that I was kept in Pune for education, that's different. But my great-grandfather kept my grandfather for studying in Pune was really strange for me. But then he had to leave schooling, he came back. And he took care of all the loans with his mother, and he again became the family that he was, and everything he took care of. He made sure his brothers and sisters study, learn, and grow in life. Then his brothers grew, his sisters grew, they got married to lawyers and barristers that time. But somewhere my grandfather felt that he is not educated. So that time he was married. I think he left all his kids and wife here, and he went to study. And then he finished his education in Pune. Then he did his MTech from IIT Kharagpur. And from IIT Kharagpur, then he was invited by Indian government to go to Canada. Then he worked as a scientist in Canada. He came back. Then he did the Rowry University and everything. So I think somewhere that impacted the way my father was raised. And I think more than that, the way, for me, he was like a friend. He was like a constant. I lost him just, I think, 2 years ago. But till then, everything that I would do, he has read my diet book and he's told me 2 days before he died that I'm following everything that you've written. So I think he'll always leave his mark on me because everything that he has done has replicated in my journey. So I think, yeah, it's him, not true.
And one more question, ma'am.
Yeah.
As you mentioned about that, there are times when you feel like crying, you feel like giving up things. At that moment, what suggestions you will give us in our generation?
Yes.
Because we feel like sometimes we feel like, love, this is too much of work, too much of things. We know that there are people who are managing everything, but there comes one point where we feel like, nah, we can't do this thing.
Right.
So at that moment, what inspired you, and what you can give, what are your insights upon it?
So I think one thing I want to clear it with everybody that, lows and times when everything feels very difficult and you feel like everybody else is doing better except me, that stays for a lifetime. You will be a CEO of a company and you will feel other CEOs are doing better, managing better, and you're doing bad, though you're living the dream life. So this is a universal thing. Now when you've understood a fact that this will keep going on, the stress on that will come out because you have to deal with it. It's a part and parcel of human life. Second is a universal law that says change is the only constant. So when you're highly successful, when you're doing well, when everything is going perfect, remember that this is going to change and pass. Same goes for when you're going through the most difficult times of your life. This is also going to pass with or without your consent. So what does that mean? You either beat your head and just get completely affected and get into shell and depression and whatever you want. If you feel your mind is getting affected, reach out to a counselor. There are so many tools that are available for help. Even on your phone you can get help. So get your tools and support systems ready. Meditate, do affirmations, do gratitude, get into spirituality. Spirituality really takes you a long way. I'm not talking about idol worshipping or anything, just understanding your own inner self. So even this year for Navratri, what I understood after many years, that it's not about worshipping one goddess. We all have a goddess within us. Everybody, even the men have Shakti inside them. So you have to just awaken that power. That is spirituality. So you have to get into this. So then your lows will not feel very low, highs will not feel very high. And when you know ki both will change, so you lose your that attachment, because we get attached to success really fast and we want only that to happen. But that's not the law of nature. When highs are there, there are lows also. And it's better that you have a graph like this, because then the spike is always higher. So just remember, whenever the universe or the life is pulling you back, it's going to like launch you like that. And it does do that. So when you know these facts, you'll be fine. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Raj Galinde. As you said at the very beginning, the schooling is in that particular place. Then later on you shifted to like Delhi Public School, and again Pune. So my question is like, have you adapted with the culture? Because as of for now, people don't speak with each other, right? So have you mixed up with the people? Because it's an huge task. As of for now, we can get used to with the place.
Yeah.
But when it comes to people, we can't like directly judge them.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like nearly impossible to mix up with the different kind of culture. So as you have been
True.
versatility of fields,
Yes.
so how you manage like coping up with the people?
Yeah, so I think, as I told you, I technically did not go to a school. So I don't have a lot of school friends. Like, I don't have any school friend. My real friendship happened in a professional college, because I think my college friends also still make fun of me, because they ask me nursery rhymes and they're like, ye pada tha kya, ye pata hai kya? And I don't know the nursery rhymes also. I technically didn't go to school. So the long lasting friendships that are there even today after 13, 14 years are my professional college friendship. Also, because I did make a lot of friends in school, because for friendship, there is one thing that always works, is your vibe attracts your tribe. Okay? Just because one person looks like you want to be friends with him, but when you actually start talking to him, you understand ki shayad tuning nahi ho raha hai. Because your vibe is going to attract your friend circle. And that always happens. That's a human nature. Now, school, I think we are growing up, so you lose touch with school students, like school friends. Professional friendships are the ones which will stay for lifelong. Even for you all, the friends that you make, okay, some people will become friends, then some people will be distant, but some will go on for the rest of your, you'll get married, you'll have kids, you'll have your professional ups and downs, but those guys, those girls will always be there, because those are like from 18 to 26. जो friendships वो time पे होते हैं ना, they remain always. So I think take it easy. Don't pressurize yourself to make friends, and just remember, the way you're grooming yourself, the kind of person you're becoming, you'll attract the similar people in your life. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Like, what's your call on people say you're known by your company, right?
It is true. In fact, you're the sum of 5 people that you spend the maximum time with. Yeah. And it is so true. And I have now taken it so seriously that I'm very cautious about with whom I spend my time, exactly, and who are my friends. Of course, socially, you know a lot of people. So you will know a lot of people. You will have acquaintances. But the people with whom you have a heart-to-heart talk, with whom you share everything, I always feel you should choose friends who have similar aspirations, similar goals, or who want to do something in life, and because that is going to shape you. Because see, your brain has a mirroring power. So the people that you talk to, your subconscious starts getting rewired according to that. So it is scientifically proven that 4 people that you spend time with, you're going to become like that. So that is very true. Yeah.
Just one last thing at the end. I have gone through like your incident, you travel a lot, right?
Yeah.
So like when it comes to people's perspective, like does it matters?
It matters to, I feel whenever I've traveled, I've always come back with a new idea. Like I remember the first time I went to Dubai, I had this deep desire to start my work in Dubai. I just had this very deep desire. It happened 2 years later out of nowhere. So it's not like if you want to manifest something, you have to every day, hold on to it, and every day you have to see it and do it. If you just put a thought out there and you just work on your own general goals, it happens. But I think everybody should travel. When you travel, it opens your mind to new lives, new people, new ways of living. And it brings you out of your shell. You understand how small you are, because we are very big in our own heads. But when you travel, you understand how tiny you are and how big is the world, and there's so much to do, and so it grounds you a lot. So I think traveling is very important. Since you all are young, try solo travel, try traveling with friends, and traveling is very crucial and important. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
So this, me taking the mic is a completely unscheduled thing. I didn't want to take the mic today, but I'm here for a specific purpose. From the bottom of my heart, I must say that this was probably the best recitation of the journey which I have ever come across. I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart because I always keep on saying that in management education specifically, one of the most important thing is learning by case study methods. And if we try to understand the case studies in the real sense, what are the case studies? Case studies are nothing but the stories, basically. Okay, why it is supposed to be one of the best method of learning is because we may forget the things which we have read yesterday, okay, but we always remember the stories which, the near and dear ones have recited to us. So हमारी मम्मी ने दादी ने जो बचपन में बताई हुई स्टोरीज है वो आज भी हमको याद है, right? So that's why case study is the best way of learning. And I think today's story is one of the best case studies I have ever come across. Since last few years, I am working very closely with ma'am. I got this opportunity to work very closely with ma'am under ma'am's leadership and guidance. But more than 99% of the journey which I came across today was not known to me. So I'm very, very fortunate that I could become part of this session. And I'm saying this from the perspective of a beneficiary of witnessing a great story. I'm sure that all the students sitting here will agree with me more than 100% that probably each point, each liners was full of a lot of learning for us, and we could relate with how we could utilize that particular experience told by ma'am with something in our life. And I'm sure that if there is any such point which anybody of us sitting here would think that probably I could not relate with this one point, my suggestion or submission to you is you are just yet to come across that situation in your life where you will automatically be able to relate with that. So it's just a matter of time. So thank you very much, ma'am, for this wonderful opportunity and you have given us today. And the whole purpose of celebrating Navratri this way, of arranging sessions of women achievers throughout this festival, was basically three things. The first thing is that we wanted everyone, irrespective of the ladies or gentlemen, that we should be aware about the importance and value of women. And when I'm saying women, it's not women as a gender, but as ma'am rightly said that in each human being, okay, there are both the aspects. Okay, the male aspect of the personality and the feminine aspect of the personality. So it's basically about being aware about the importance and the value of the feminine aspect of anybody's personality. The second point is that we have understood, we have become aware, we should be grateful to that aspect. And the third thing is that once we have become aware and also grateful, we should congratulate, compliment, and wish for increasing this greatness in the future also. To ensure these 3 points, to celebrate all that, we tried this, and probably I think this one session which I could witness sitting here served to all these 3 points in all the respects. So for that, ma'am, this is not the formal vote of thanks, but I couldn't resist myself from taking the mic and expressing my gratitude from the bottom of my heart, okay, including in the scheduled part of the program. So thank you very much once again, and I'm sure that the students will agree with me that a very big round of applause will probably show our gratitude towards the ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your words of wisdom and inspiration. Your motivating journey is a proof that one can do anything if they believe in themselves, keeping faith, discipline, and inspiration. From sports to academics, you are an ultimate inspiration for us. Following your heart indeed gave you success, and we, of course, see you as our inspiration and light bearer. As we conclude today's Navratri celebration, I would like to take this opportunity to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our guest of honor, Dr. Rohini Patil ma'am, for gracing this occasion and sharing her inspirational journey with us. Your words are a true reminder that with faith, discipline, and determination, we can achieve anything. Our heartfelt thanks also go out to our respected Dr. Somnath Patil sir, whose vision has shaped Dr. D.Y. Patil Nyan Prasad University into a hub of knowledge and culture. Sincere thanks to our respected Dean and Director, Dr. Vishal Vadaskar sir, for his constant guidance and support. Our heartfelt gratitude to the HODs, Dr. Kiran Kale sir, HOD of Management Program, and Dr. Shikha Dubey ma'am, HOD of Computer Applications. Last but not the least, to all our student council members and the students who made this program possible. As we leave, let us carry forward the blessings of Ma Chandraghanta into our hearts, walking the path of courage, tranquility, and strength. Now, I request respected Dr. Rohini ma'am and all the dignitaries to join us in room 705. Thank you. Shubh Navratri to one and all. Thank you for joining us today.